Talktainment Radio, worldwide sound. Talktainmentradio.com. We give you a reason to come. The world's greatest radio. We give you a reason to stay. Radio, the way it should be heard. You got the power.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest and not necessarily those of TalkTainmentRadio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
Live call-in talk show. Dial 1-877-932-9766 and join the conversation here on TalkTainmentRadio.com.
This is the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com, the world's greatest radio. Radio, the way it should be heard. And now, Mr. Neely Fuller.
If you do not understand white supremacy, which is racism, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Only confuse you. Only confuse you.
Good morning and welcome to the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller. I'm Brother K, sitting in this week for Mr. Bobby, who due to unforeseen circumstances could not be here this morning. However, he will return next week. This is the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller. You can join us this morning by going to TalkTainmentRadio.com and hit the Listen Live button. And then call in and weigh in at 1-877-932-9766. That's 1-877-932-9766. One more time, 1-877-932-9766. And you can watch the live YouTube broadcast by going to YouTube and then type in the word Talktainment. Hit the space bar on your keyboard and then type in the word radio and then scroll down to the Talktainment 2 and then watch us live. The live program will be replayed on Talktainment Facebook page, and then you can go to the TalkTainmentRadio.com and listen for the rebroadcast this evening. And of course, you can download the podcast at TalkTainmentRadio.com 24/7. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. Mr. Fuller, how are you, sir?
I'm still learning.
This morning, we are going to open up the lines. We're going to have an open line discussion, and so you can call in and weigh in. And the number is 1-877-932-9766. Let me repeat that, 1-877-932-9766. I'm going to go a little slower on this one. 1-877-932-9766. Mr. Fuller, before we open up the lines, any thoughts on anything that happened this week from last week that you'd like to discuss, sir?
No, nothing specific, because there are so many things that are happening everywhere all the time. Almost any subject will do, any area of activity, anything in the subject of economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, that pertains to racism, and racism is the dominant feature on the planet. As we speak here in 2018, it has more influence than any other political or religious influence in recorded history, in my opinion. And so therefore anything that has to do with that, and the fallout from that, affects everybody directly and indirectly. So you can pick, it's like the body of a snake. You can pick it up anywhere, as someone once said. You can pick up a poisonous snake anywhere, and anywhere you pick it up may get a little bit complicated.
All right, Mr. Fuller. Okay, my thoughts, I had a couple of thoughts I wanted to throw in as we wait for the phone calls. 1-877-932-9766. 1-877-932-9766. Mr. Fuller, this question of religion continues to come up in many issues in our community, and I was wondering, how do we deal with this? How should we see religion, and what role does it play in our lives?
Well, religion plays, and what people call their specific personal religion plays a huge role and influences how people are going to act and interact with other people, or they are not going to in any area of activity, like the areas that I just named. It affects economics. It affects education, how you look at education, how people should be educated, according to what? According to your religion. And then, how you entertain yourself. People say, well, I'm going to church today and we're going to have a very entertaining day, or that I really enjoyed myself at the gathering that we had last night over at my church. And so that comes under the banner of entertainment. So you have entertainment in various churches and according to various religions, and the weddings and all a part of what they might call festivities, and on and on. So what we do in religion affects, and how we think about religion affects everything. And so it depends on what specific religion that a person says that he or she has. However, in saying all that, the most powerful religion on the planet in the recorded history has turned out to be the religion of white supremacy. That's a religion. Because specifically, what is a religion? A religion is nothing but a strong belief backed up by action.
Interesting. So that's very different from, so religion, we've been taught that religion is anything you do dutifully, but you're saying it's a strong belief backed up by action.
That's what any religion is. Whatever you believe in very strongly, and you back it up with your actions, that is, by definition, your religion. That's any person that you can pick out anywhere on the planet, any time of day or night. Whatever they strongly believe in any one or more of the areas of activity, of what we call people activity. And they back it up by their actions. In other words, they no longer they just don't say that they believe it. Everything that they do shows that they believe it. If they say that I believe in going to the top of the mountain and praying every day, and it's at Mount Matterhorn, but I don't start my prayers until I get to the top of that mountain, and I go every day. You should, since that person says that is a part, at least a part, or maybe the major part of that person's religion, you just watch them to see if they're going to do exactly what they said that they believed in doing. And if they don't do everything that they say they believe in doing, or that their religion requires them to do, then you can have serious doubts about that person having the religion that person says that he or she has. Now, the white people, not all, just the white people who believe in the religion of white supremacy, they have proven that they practice every bit, every part of that religion of white supremacy. The religion of white supremacy, put it in capital letters. They believe in practicing every part of it, and they prove it by their deeds. They don't skip over anything. They don't leave anything out. They don't cut corners like a lot of people do in their religion. Some people will say, well, I'm a Baptist, or I'm a Catholic, or I'm a Jehovah's Witness, but I don't really practice it, but that's my label. Well, you cannot be what you are not practicing, period. And I mean, you got to do it all if you say that that's your religion. In most places, people are not forced to have a religion. So if you adopt a religion, you should practice all of the parts of the religion that you have adopted. Otherwise, you're not telling the truth about that being your religion. You're making that up, and nobody should believe you. Your credibility is in serious doubt when you say that my religion requires me to do A, B, C, D, whatever it is. But then you don't argue with people about their religion either, according to what I have written at least. You never argue with a person about their religion, but you just ask questions about what the religion is. And you expect the person to carry out all of the duties, if there are any. Some religions may not have any duties. I never heard of one that didn't have some duties.
Yes.
You know, but maybe there are some tribal religions. There are many, many hundreds. Some people say thousands of religions. If you're just talking about a group of 300 people somewhere in a forest, they have their own religious ceremonies and their own religious requirements. And it may be unknown to everybody else in the world, but it is their religion. And they practice it or they don't practice it. And so if you want to talk about religion without having arguments, which you should always avoid, stay in the question lane. Just ask questions about the person's religion. And it's three basic questions that you ask. And that is, what is the name of your religion?
Okay.
What does your religion require you to do in all of the 9 areas of activity, if there are any requirements? And third, what does your religion require you to do when you interact with me? Now, in practice, that's all that a person really needs to know about another person's religion.
Okay. All right, Mr. Fuller, I think we have some callers waiting. Let's go to the line. This is an open line. I'm Brother K, sitting in for Mr. Bobby, who will be back next week. All right, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead. Good morning. You're on the air. Caller? Okay. Is he on the air? Caller, you're on line 1. Go ahead. Okay, Mr. Fuller?
Hello?
All right, then. Apparently, the caller must have dropped. So you can reach us at 1-877-932-9766. 1-877-932-9766. So, Mr. Fuller, so we asked them, what is the name of the religion? What does the religion require you to do in all 9 areas of life? And what does it require you to do in terms of how you interact with me?
Yes.
Okay.
Those are the
3 basics.
Yes, anytime you're talking about a religion in a barbershop or anywhere else, many, many people talk about their religion. You know, it's one of the favorite subjects of people all over the planet. People will talk about their religion. And they'll talk about it. Most people will talk about it freely because they'll be advertising their religion as the religion to have. So you just simply listen. Don't argue with people about his or her religion. And don't oppose anybody's religion if you are a person of color, except one. And that is the religion of white supremacy. Why? The religion of white supremacy is designed to eliminate all of the religions that oppose the religion of white supremacy. It's designed to do that.
Now, Mr. Fuller,
the white supremacists will not tolerate anyone practicing a religion that's bad for their business. And the religion of white supremacists is designed to do what? It's designed to dominate and mistreat people based on color. Now, this is a religion that everybody should oppose, according to whom? According to me. I'm saying this because it's designed to harm people deliberately. See, and any religion that's designed to deliberately harm people on the basis of what? Not on the basis of what the person is doing, but on the basis of what the person has, and that's color in his or her skin. You look at the person and say, oh, that person has color in his skin, in her skin. So therefore, according to the religion of white supremacy, I have a duty to dominate and mistreat that person in all areas of activity 24/7. That's my duty. That's my assignment. That's my heavenly assignment. And I am going to carry it out come hell or high water. That's the white supremacist religious doctrine. And they make no excuses for it because they say this is the way it should be.
I'm going to come back to this that white supremacy is set up to oppose all religions. That's an interesting piece. But before I go there, Mr. Fuller, I want to take a call. Caller, you're on the air. This is the Compensatory Concept. What is your question or statement? Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead. Okay. Mr. Fuller, go ahead. Let me ask you this. When you say that white supremacy is designed to oppose all other religions, to make it subservient to, what do you mean?
To make it subservient to what they call the supreme religion, and that is the religion of white supremacy. The white supremacists will come along in any Christian church, as some have done, if it's people of color, and take a look around and say, hey, I'm a white supremacist, and you people are here talking about love and all like that. I'm going to kill everybody in here, and there ain't nothing nobody can do about it. Nobody can stop me. Nobody will stop me, because nobody has that kind of muscle, because that's my divine mission. And they do it. And the white supremacists go all over the world examining everybody's religion if it consists of the people who are practicing religion or people of color, black, brown, red, yellow, anybody who is classified as non-white. They examine your religion, and they say, oh, well, reverend, or this priest, Hindu priest, or whatever it is, say, you're going to have to take that out of your religion. They say, well, this is a part of my ancient religion, and we have always done this and done that. Say, well, your religion right now is bad for my business, because my business is practicing racism. That's my requirement. And so I am practicing racism against you because you are opposing, you have a part of your religion that's opposed to my operations in this particular area at this particular time. So you get rid of that. You're talking about your sex laws and your religion. I don't care anything about your sex laws. You better change them. I mean, you know, if your religion says that, you know, that you're going to have a marital arrangement between male and female, and that's your tradition, well, if it's okay for my business and it doesn't hurt my business, okay, I'll go along with it. But if I say that your religion should consist of now all types of sexuality according to what I tell you to do, all right, scatter sexuality, okay, anti-sexuality, bovina sexuality, meaning you're going to have sexual intercourse with cows now, that's what you're going to do, sir. You know, and if you don't do it, you're going to feel the wrath of hell on your head. And I am the originator of that. Now think about it.
It's powerful.
And carry it out, or I am going to prove to you that what I said, I have my gods behind me. And my gods are always more powerful than any of you dark-skinned people's gods. I don't care what kind of God it is. Because my God is myself. I'm a white supremacist. Shut up and eat it.
That's powerful. Caller, are you on the air?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let me hear from you.
Yeah.
Speak up. Hello? Okay, for some reason, we're not getting the transmission, but we'll keep on working on it. All right, Mr. Fuller, as we look at the world today, we've got two things that are dominating, it appears to me. One is religion, and of course the other is politics. When we look at the political situation right now, we have many people who feel this way about the president, people who feel that way about what's going on, feel this way about voting. Mr. Fuller, should we be involved in the political process as we know it, or should we look at politics in a different way?
Oh, well, politics is just any interaction between people. So if you're talking about within a religious context, a person should do what their religion requires them to do when it comes to the area of politics, whatever that requirement is. This is why you ask people, what does your religion require you to do in the political arena? Now, by politics is just any interaction between people. Just saying hello to someone that you pass on the street. That's political. Sometimes people say, well, I don't get involved in politics. Well, now, you get involved in politics if you ever even speak to anybody. That's political. Politics just means people, interacting with people. You cannot have politics without people. And it means people have to interact with people. That's politics. Polite. Police. It's all the same thing. You have to interact with people. Now, if you're just interacting with a rock or with a tree or with the clouds in the sky, I mean, well, that's not political because that's not one person interacting with another person. But once a person interacts with another person, that is, in essence, basic politics. Any kind of interaction. Doesn't make any difference what the interaction is.
What should our view of politics be? How should we look as victims of white supremacy? How should we approach politics? What should we be thinking, and what questions should we be asking?
All politics are supposed to be for one basic purpose, and that is to have people interact with people in a constructive manner. You got just two choices: constructive, non-constructive. There's no such thing as in between. Mm-hmm. You're either going to interact with a person in a constructive manner, in a manner where you get a constructive result, or you're going to interact with that person in a manner that's non-constructive. And people should always, according to logic and correct intent, try to interact with every other person that they encounter in the most constructive manner. So when you don't do that, then you should back away. You should back away from that person until you can figure out how to do that. Because you shouldn't have any interaction with anybody that turns out to be a non-constructive result. And this is fundamental for everybody on the planet, here in 2018 or any other era. I mean, every interaction, one person to another, or 1 million persons with another million persons, every interaction should have a constructive result. But under the system of racism, no interaction, even when it looks like it's constructive, is going to have a constructive result ultimately. Why? Because the system of racism is designed to cause dissension and harm to people, period. It's designed to do that.
Should we get involved and support political parties? Like, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I'm a Green Party, or something of that nature. I'm an independent, I'm a libertarian, all that. Should we get involved in those areas of activity?
Well, first of all, those words are supposed to have definitions. And so if a person wants you to be, a person says, well, you should be a Republican, you should be a Democrat, you should be an independent, you should be a liberal, you should be a conservative. Any person that uses these words should be able to explain exactly what that means in each area of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. They should say what it means is how you're going to act and interact with people in all of these areas of activity. The person who says they have this label, a patriot, all right? I'm a patriot. I believe in being, I'm a very patriotic person. Well, you don't argue with the person about that. You just simply ask, well, what are you supposed to do when you interact with with me as a patriotic person. Because ultimately it's all about how you're going to interact with one person to another. That's why the person is talking to you. They're talking about a plan for interaction with you that's going to include you. So you want to know what this inclusion is going to be all about in fine detail, not in broad terms.
That's
See,
powerful.
Too many people like to speak in broad terms.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got some wonderful programs, and you should be a part of it. Well, wonderful programs according to what?
Right.
By doing what? See, everything is about doing something, all right? This wonderful program that you say, well, that's a slogan, okay? And always watch out for slogans. Everybody's got some type of slogan. I mean, slogans. Okay, well, let's look at the details of your slogan.
Interesting.
Right.
All right. Let's go to the lines, 1-877-932-9766, 1-877-932-9766. Caller, you're on the air with Mr. Neely Fuller. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Gregory out of Florida.
How you doing, Gregory?
Good, thank you.
Good.
I have a question. I was curious to know, I know it's under the area of religion. I know during slavery, like, we weren't allowed to really read or anything, but it seems as though from the things I've seen and heard, that the Bible was something that was okay for us to be read, and, and some people even learned it. So I was just curious to know what Mr. Fuller thought or would think about why that particular book was okay for us to read.
Well, Greg, let me step in here just a second. Are you are you questioning whether or not we should read the Bible? Or are you questioning if it's a useful tool for understanding? I'm trying to understand what are you saying?
I'm just questioning under the system-wide supremacy. Why would they not allow people to read at all, and to the point where they would give us that book, and it was read to us, during this time, just to keep our spirits up or whatever, during this time. So I'm just curious to know why, of all books, why that?
Why that? Very good question. Mr. Fuller.
Well, all books can be read. There's nothing, I don't see any logic in refusing to read a book. Anybody can read a book that can read or should read if they want to read that particular book. And it all comes down to, what are you reading the book for? There are 4 basic principles, and it has, recently I came up with it, and I put it in my book, that covers everything. When it comes to, I put it under economics too, because it has to do with use of time and energy. All right? So there are 4 things. There's 4 questions, really. And it has to do with one word, wants. W-A-N-T-S. Everybody wants something. Every creature wants something. Every minute of every day that they are awake. Of course, when you're asleep, well, it's hard to tell what you might want because, you're asleep. But once you're awake, that's squirrels, that's people, that's giraffes, that's fish. A fish wants something. Every second that fish is moving in the water, the fish is awake. That fish wants something. It wants to go in this direction, wants to go in that direction. So it comes down to that word, that one word, wants. So here are the 4 questions that you can ask any time, any place, to anybody. And everything will fall right in place based on the answers that you get, I think. I think if you try it, you'll find out that it always goes right where it should go. So what is number 1? What do you want to do? All right? And if it's about you, if you're asking a person a question, you can say, what do you want me to do? Okay? But basically it's, what do you want to do? That's what you ask a person. Because everybody wants to do something. Every minute of the day they want to do something. If it's no more than just catch the bus or whatever. I got to go here, I got to go there, I got to do this. Every creature wants to do something, every person. So what do you want to do? And this will fit religion too. Because, in religions you want to do something. All right? What do you want to do? Next question. Why do you want to do it? Got to have a reason for wanting to cross the street. Or go over to Aunt Mary's house. Or go looking for a job. Well, I want to go looking for a job. Well, okay, well, that's what you want to do. All right, what do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? Number 3, how do you plan to do this thing that you say you want to do? Should have a plan. You're going to look for a job or something like that. How you plan to do it? Well, I'm going to catch the bus, or I'm having my buddy come over and drive me around town today. I got a list of jobs I'm going to apply for. I need transportation. Okay, that's your plan. All right. Number 4, what do you expect the constructive result to be? And those 4 questions, I think if anybody tries it, who's listening to what I'm saying right now, what do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? How do you plan to do it? What do you expect the constructive result to be? Those questions apply to everybody every minute of the day.
Mr. Fuller, stay right there. More to come on the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller. Up next on TalkTainmenTRadio.com.
For the best home fragrance and beauty products, shop Ash Kickin online.
That's ASHKICKIN.
Made with 100% natural quality ingredients and handcrafted with your family in mind, Ash Kickin products are better than those other guys. Ash Kickin candles, incense, body butter, face moisturizer, and hair moisturizer are priced just right, and you can get yours at 10% off with coupon code TALK17. Support this 100% black-owned business and get your home and body smelling and feeling all right.
That's ASHKICKIN.
Shop Ash Kickin online at www.ashkickin.com.
Are you ready for a high school that allows you to work at a place that is right for you? Are you ready to earn a certification in healthcare, business, or manufacturing while achieving your high school diploma? Then you are ready for Life Skills High School, a free public school option for high school students 16 to 21 years old. Learn more about your free high school educational options at lifeskillshs.org or call them at 1-800-888-7992. Life Skills High School, education that fits your life.
If you or someone you know is abusing drugs and or alcohol and want to stop the abuse, contact APDS at 1409 East Livingston Avenue. Office hours are 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily and 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday. APDS is certified by the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services and primarily funded through the Adam H. Board. Fees are based on your income and Medicaid is always accepted. For more information, call 614-253-4448.
McGruff the Crime Dog here. Let's hear from an identity thief.
Identities are easy to catch online. I send people an official-looking email pretending to be their bank or credit card company and ask them to confirm their personal information. Hooks them every time.
Safeguard your personal information on the phone, online, and especially at home, because half of identity theft occurs by someone you think you know. Keep your identity to yourself and take a bite out of crime. Learn more from the National Crime Prevention Council at ncpc.org.
A message from this station, the U.S. Department of Justice, Crime Prevention Coalition of America, and the National Crime Prevention Council.
Hey, wake up. You can't dream your way into college. There are actual steps you need to take. Steps that go beyond just getting good grades. So if you're serious about college, visit knowhowtogo.org today. Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation for Education, and the Ad Council.
This is Al Edmondson, owner of a Cutter Brother Rest Barbershop. I'm calling on all barbers and beauticians. It's time for us to unite as one. We can serve our communities better together. Join the Ohio Black Barber Beauty Network. For more information, visit www.obbn.org or call 614-427-3226 to get more information. Be the change that you want to see in your community. Join our network.
We thank you for your emails and your feedback. And we are working very hard for you. We have supported the Compensatory Code since 1975. We believe that it is the only system of thought, speech, and action that enables us to move in the correct direction to work toward the production of justice. But right now, we need your help. If we're going to continue the Compensatory Concept show each week, we need your support. Now, we thank you and deeply appreciate what you've already donated. Please help us to continue to get the compensatory code system of thought, speech, and action out. Please donate today. Go to TalkTainmentRadio.com and hit the yellow donate button on the front page. Donate today. We appreciate any amount that you can give. We thank you so much.
Live call-in talk show. Dial 1-877-932-9766 and join the conversation here on TalkTainmentRadio.com.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Go ahead. Make my day.
You got the power.
This is the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller. I'm Brother K, sitting in for Mr. Bobby, who, due to unforeseen circumstances, is not able to join us this week. He asked me if I would sit in today, and I said yes, any way I can do to help the good brother. And so I'm here today sitting in for Mr. Bobby. Now, we have an open line with Mr. Neely Fuller, of course, who is the author of 2 great books, and he has been for many, many years out there talking about the compensatory code concept. And he has been all over the country, and his book, of course, can be purchased all over the world. His number, our call-in number is 1-877-932-9766, 1-877-932-9766. One more time, 1-877-932-9766. You can listen to us. Go to TalkTainmentRadio.com, hit the listen live button and listen. Or you can watch us on YouTube. You can go to YouTube, type in TalkTainmentRadio.com, hit the space bar on your keyboard, and then type in radio, and then scroll down to Talktainment 2 and listen live. And, of course, you can get the podcast of this show 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at TalkTainmentRadio.com. And then the replay is later on this evening. I'll give you that time for tonight. Mr. Fuller is here, and we're waiting on your calls. This is an open line. Anything you want to discuss, we're open to it. I'm told that we have a caller on the line, so let's go straight to our caller. Good morning, caller, and welcome to the Compensatory Concept. Go ahead.
Thank you. How's it going this morning?
Pretty good, my brother. Let me hear from you.
You know, I've been having constructive discussions with some black people about all the instances of white people calling the police on stupid things like too many coupons, or fouling in basketball, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I've heard Mr. Fuller say that in the white supremacist movement that you have what they call sacrifice. So these white people who are calling, you know, they got to be knowing that, okay, they make this stupid phone call, they're going to be put on blast, put on social media, lose a job or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I'm telling people not to get caught up in that, because I'm believing, in my eyes, they'll sacrifice to say, okay, they know they're going to be put on blast, why put themselves through that? And I believe they might be getting paid on the back end to do that, to keep us in our emotions, where we emote too much. Mm-hmm. Well, I believe it's a setup. So to keep our minds off what's really going on. And I wanted to get Mr. Fuller's perception on what I share with my people.
Okay, did you you want to put that in the form of a question?
Do you think that the people that are calling the police on black people for small things, do you believe they're sacrifices of the white supremacists to keep us confused and all uprising in our emotions?
Interesting question. Mr. Fuller.
It could be. See, the white supremacists are always trying to confuse their victims. Why? For a very logical, universal reason. And that is, if you have the intent of dominating people in a very efficient manner, the most efficient manner is to keep the people confused in all areas of activity if you can. Economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. You confuse the people that you are going to do harm to. It makes it easier. That's the easiest way. Because confusion is all about how you control a person's mind. And if there's 10 people in a room, I sometimes give this illustration, the person who is least confused out of the 10 people is the most powerful person in that room. That's just a law of physics. That's a law of the universe. I mean, you always tap into the laws of logic, all right? And so that's just the way it works. If you got 9 people who are confused, and you got one person who is not confused, that one person in that room at that time is the most powerful person in that room. So the white supremacists, when they go among any people of color, part of their agenda is we're going to confuse these people. We're going to do all kinds of things, like a card shark or like a pool shark. You know, confusion, like a magician. Confuse your opponent. Like a general, really. Most of the generals throughout history, I mean, people that fight wars and whatnot, they say, how can we confuse our opponent? Boxers in the ring say, if I can confuse my opponent, I can probably beat that opponent. All right? If I can make the opponent think that I'm going to hit him with my right, and I hit him with my left. All right? This is confusion strategy. So the white supremacists know just about all of the strategies that it takes to confuse their victims. That's why they're successful at it. So they're constantly modifying their means of confusion. So always look for that. Always suspect that. Because they'll say, oh, well, we'll tweak it a little bit here and tweak it a little bit there. Just like a smooth-running machine, which is what the system of racism is. It's a very smooth-running machine. Every now and then they run into glitches. But just like any person that's attending the machine, they correct the glitches. All right? They say, well, we ran this trick on black people last year. You think, hey, Will, do you think it'll work this year? Hey, well, how did it do last year? Well, it worked last year. I mean, it worked the year before. Well, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know. We'll just crank it up and keep it going. In fact, let's amp it up a notch. You know, they'll catch on. Don't woke them up. Let them sleep on, you know.
Caller, did that answer your question?
Yeah, I got another one too. You all were talking about political parties, and I've heard Mr. Fuller say there are 2 types of people in this world: people of non-color and people of color. And my thing is, okay, if those are the only 2 types of people, isn't that the only 2 political parties we should look at? People of color, people of non-color.
Interesting. So let me just delve a little bit further. You mean that there should be a non-colored political party a colored political party. I'm sorry, let me go again. A non-white political party and a white political party. Is that what you're saying?
Right, because that's really, if you look at white supremacists, isn't that what it's all about? White people against people of color, people not of color?
That's very interesting. Mr. Fuller, should we restrict ourselves to just those 2 choices in terms of political party identification?
Well, according to the code, white supremacists do not belong to any party. White supremacists are white supremacists. They don't belong to any country. They don't believe in borderlines for them. They believe in borderlines for people of color. A white supremacist believes in one thing, and that is white supremacy. That's it. They don't believe in anything else. So, but they'll go around and call themselves everything because that's a part of their deception. If they think that they're talking to a black person and that white person who is a white supremacist thinks that that black person can be charmed or fooled by that white person saying, that white supremacist saying that he or she is a Christian or Muslim or Republican or Hindu or conservative or liberal or an independent or a Green Party, a white supremacist will say anything that will convince you to drop your guard and listen to them. They don't care. They will use any words, any tactics, anything. They'll go along with anything as long as at the beginning and the end of each day they are practicing white supremacy and you are the victim of it.
Wow.
But they will say anything. There's nothing that they won't say. I mean, if they think that, hey, well, is it good to be a gambler and whatnot? Oh, yes, buddy. Hey, I'm a gambler. Yeah, I believe in gambling. Gambling is a thing. Let's go into the casino right now. As long as they're the most powerful person in any setting, they don't care.
So, Mr. Fuller.
So don't fall for any kind of label at all, because in the system of white supremacy, they're just what? When it comes to people of color. White supremacists and their victims. And if you are a person of color, you are the victim. Period. There's no other equation going on there.
Mr. Fuller, are you saying that they're like chameleons?
Well, you can say that. I mean, if you want to make that comparison, meaning they'll take all sides of every argument in the same setting, right along the same table, in order to do what? Why would a person do that? It's confusing, that's why.
Woo!
And anytime you can confuse your opponent, you got them, all right? So they will say anything that they think will fake you out.
That's deep.
They have been successful at it forever. As long as there's been white supremacy. White supremacy has been white supremacy as long as there's been white supremacy. There's been no other effective government in the history of the world as powerful as the system of white supremacy. And it's based on what? Direct violence, which is, taking a gun or a knife or a sword and killing people or putting people in line by a threat of death. And the other tool that they have is deception, deceit, and direct violence, because deceit is a form of indirect violence. Anytime somebody's fooling you to your detriment, that's a violent act. If the person is doing it to do unjust harm to you, that is an act of violence. If you are being fooled, if you are being cheated out of your money at the car repair place, that's an act of violence. Why? You lost your money. You don't have enough money now to do all the other things you have to do because you paid them. You paid that money out in a car repair bill because the person lied to you. They said that this was incorrect about your car. They said your motor needed overhauling, and it didn't. That is violence. That is violence. I mean, so the white supremacists can't, or any white person who does that type of thing to a non-white person, that's an act of racist violence right there. You lied.
Okay, caller, turn down the radio. Thank you, Mr. Fuller. This is the time in which you tell us about how we can get your books and how we can go to your website and learn more. Mr. Fuller.
You can go to producejustice.com, and right now the only thing that they have up there is the advertisement for the book, but the advertisement for the book won't get you a book right now because we're having a distribution problem for about 2 weeks. But you go to producejustice.com in about 2 weeks, and then the book, you'll be able to get the book right then. I intend to put other things on that website, like people have been asking me for a couple of years now about the list that I have of movies that I recommend that people look at. And it's about 40 of them and whatnot, but I haven't put it up yet because I've been trying to keep so many other things going, like this website, and keeping my book in a distribution mode, which is where I am right now.
What's the name?
Producejustice.com, and the book will come up on the screen.
Okay.
It's a basic book called the Compensatory Counter-Racist Code.
Okay.
The book is addressed to the individual person, and then there's an additional book, volume rather, called the Word Guide. Actually, they're the same book. They're part of the same book. But I recommend that people get the basic book, and then if you want the additional Word Guide, you can get that. If you already have the basic book, I recommend that you get the Word Guide, which is just an extension of the basic book. But most people can get the basic book. That's producejustice.com. Producejustice.com.
Thank you, Mr. Fuller. This is the Compensatory Concept. I am Brother K, and I'm sitting in for Mr. Bobby, who due to unforeseen circumstances is not able to join us this week. He asked me if I would sit in. I said yes. He will be back next week. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, you're on the air with Mr. Neely Fuller, Compensatory Concept. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I wanted to talk with Mr. Fuller about two separate incidences that occurred the past couple of days where suspected white supremacists killed non-white people.
Okay.
The first incident happened in Florida, where I don't know if he's heard about it or not, where a suspected white supremacist, a non-white family pulled into a convenience store. The father of the family got out with some of the kids and walked in and to purchase items. And when he came back out, a suspected white supremacist had started an argument with his wife and the rest of his family.
Mm-hmm.
So the non-white male immediately walked up and he heard the suspected white supremacist using expletives and cursing at his wife, and he walked up and he pushes the suspected white supremacist out, pushes him down.
Mm-hmm.
The suspected white supremacist then pulls out a gun and shoots the non-white man in front of his family. And the Florida Stand Your Ground law, the same one that protected George Zimmerman, is protecting the suspected white supremacist. Says that he's justified and no charges will be filed. And I know that Mr. Fuller is always the code always tells us to expect that. I know that we're in a system of white supremacy. I know we're supposed to expect death. Being a non-white person in the system of white supremacy, we get to something to expect. But I wanted to ask Mr. Fuller the first question. And I'll talk about the second incident because he likes to handle one question at a time.
Yes.
I'll talk about the second incident on the second question. Okay. But my first question is, Mr. Fuller, how do we stay in a? Is it logical for us to stay in a non-white? Is it logical for us to stay in a not the war zone, the non-war zone?
Say that again. Is it logical to stay where?
Is it logical for us to stay in the non-war zone when the white supremacists are obviously
in a war zone? Okay, Mr. Fuller, if I'm reading you or hearing you correctly, you're saying, is it logical for us to stay in a non-war zone while the white supremacists are in a war zone? Mr. Fuller.
Yes. If we had a non-war zone to stay in, but we don't. We are prisoners of war. Anywhere a black person is, I'll give this as an illustration, anywhere on this planet right now, even on a boat, in the Mediterranean Sea trying to get to Italy, you are in a war zone anywhere you go if you have black skin, and you are already a prisoner of war. That's why anybody can shoot a prisoner of war who is making trouble for the prison system. So expect to get shot anytime, shot dead, and nobody do nothing about it but put some more balloons on a fence. That's all that's going to result from it, collectively. There'll be some isolated incidents where someone will make a judgment in favor of the prisoner of war, but you must look at yourself. If you have a non-white skin and you are on a planet called Earth in 2018, look at yourself as being born with a uniform on, your skin color, that says you are now officially a prisoner of war. And if you don't see yourself like that, you're going to act like you're not, and you will be in imminent danger. If you always look at yourself walking down the street as a prisoner of war, and that every white person that you pass is a guard in that prison, you have to look at it like that. Every white person that you interact with is a guard in the prison, and you're a prisoner of war. And that white person has been taught to regard you as being a prisoner of war. And prisoners of war are not supposed to do anything that disturbs the prison order. And if you do it at great risk of being killed. Just like anybody who's been in prison knows, hey, you don't go near that wall or near that razor wire, or you don't do anything to disturb the order of the prison. All right? They may put you in solitary confinement. I mean, which globally speaking, I always call it greater confinement when they take a black person and put that black person in what we call jail. All right? That's greater confinement. But you are already confined if you're anywhere on the planet because you're already a prisoner of war. It's nowhere that a non-white person can go, a black person can go on this planet where they are not subject to the white supremacists, according to everything that I have heard and everything that I have learned. And if anybody can tell me that there is such a place, I haven't heard about it. I haven't talked to anybody who's ever seen it. And I've talked on occasion to people who have traveled quite a bit, much more than I ever have. And I always tell people right today in 2018, if you know of a place where there are people of color, and these people of color are not directly or indirectly subject to the dictates of those white people, not talking about all white people, but those white people who are the most powerful people, by the way, who believe in and who practice white supremacy, and those people of color are not subject to them in every area of activity, I want to know where that is. I just want to hear about it, all right? And I'd, really like to go there and check it out because I don't believe it. I have no reason to believe it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Caller, what is your second question?
Yes,
be as brief as you can.
Okay, you sure. I understand that. But the second incident happened in California. A suspected white supremacist walked up in a grocery line and attacked two young non-white females and slashed one of them's throat. She didn't have a chance to defend herself. Slashed her throat, killed her, and tried to stab her sister, and she managed to live. And so I'm understanding all of that, Mr. Fuller, you just said. But what do we do as victims of white supremacy to protect ourselves? What is the solution? I mean, do we just, as soon as we see a suspected white supremacist, do we run, or do we attack, or do we just stand there and let them kill us? I mean, what solutions do? I know we have the code. But what does the code tell us to do when white supremacists are just in a grocery store line, turn around and slashing our children's throats?
Mr. Fuller.
Stop acting like we are not prisoners of war. Act like we are prisoners of war. Now, prisoners of war, and that's why I sometimes refer to a movie called Shawshank Redemption. Or you can look at some of the war movies, where people are prisoners of war. What do prisoners of war think about doing? They think about not being prisoners of war. That's their duty. That's your duty. Black people have a priority throughout the world, and I've been repeating this on this program and on other programs, and I say it in the book and everything. What is black people's priority as a rule? When you go among any black people right now, right where you are, right where I am, what is the black person's average priority, minute by minute?
Show it off. Show it off.
I will answer according to what I have observed and what I am a part of myself, really. But I have made it a non-priority in the last 30 years, because it doesn't make sense. And it hurts me to have had that priority. And that is to, every day, wake up with one thing in mind. The average black person, if we'll tell the truth, do whatever it takes to impress another black person. Stop and think about what black people talk about, what they plan on doing. Hey, man, I'm going to have some time off this weekend, all right? Time off to do what?
Mr. Fuller, stay right there. We're going to continue that in the second hour of the Compensatory Concept. Stay right there. Thanks for listening to the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com, the world's greatest radio.
The most important question in all racial matters is why one should always ask it.
Radio, the way it should be heard.
You've got the power. The world's greatest radio. Talktainmentradio.com. Talktainment Radio, worldwide sound. Talktainmentradio.com. We give you a reason to come. The world's greatest radio. We give you a reason to stay. Radio, the way it should be heard. You got the power.
The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guest and not necessarily those of TalktainmentRadio.com, the management, the staff, or K&E World Network, LLC.
Live call-in talk show. Dial 1-877-932-9766 and join the conversation here on TalktainmentRadio.com.
This is the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, heard exclusively on TalktainmentRadio.com, the world's greatest radio. Radio, the way it should be heard. And now, Mr. Neely Fuller.
If you do not understand white supremacy, which is racism, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Only confuse you. Only confuse you.
This is the second hour of the Compensatory Concept. I'm Brother K, sitting in for Mr. Bobby, who, due to unforeseen circumstances, is not able to join us this week. However, Mr. Bobby will be back next week. This is your show. Let's go to the lines. We've got a lot of people lining up to call. 1-877-932-9766. 1-877-932-9766. 1-877-932-9766. We have an open line this morning to Mr. Neely Fuller, and he's accepting any questions or statements that you want to make. So be sure to call that number. And to hear us live, go to TalktainmentRadio.com. Hit the Listen Live button and then hear us live. If you want to watch the live broadcast on YouTube, you can go to YouTube, type in Talktainment, TalkTainment, and then hit the space bar and then type in the word radio and then scroll down to Talktainment 2, and then you can watch the live broadcast. Mr. Fuller, let's take some more calls. 1-877-932-9766. Caller, you're on the air with Mr. Neely Fuller.
Yes, Mr. Fuller. I'm still wanting to understand. I'm talking about the incident that happened in California where the two young ladies were brutally murdered. Well, one of them was brutally murdered and one of them got away. And I wanted that you were talking about what we do is what we wake up as non-white people on our minds is showing off to other non-white people. And I understand that, but how do we prevent such a heinous attack against our children? Just we stand against us. There's nothing we can do?
There's nothing we can do except adopt a code to get rid of the system of white supremacy. That's what I've been saying for years. You're not going to be able to stop this in this system. The system is set up for that. It's set up to make that happen. That's automatic. This is not some fluke in a perfect society. I mean, this is the government of the non-white people of the planet. It's designed to do that. Black people getting pulled over and shot down repeatedly. And the balloons on the fences, the hugs and the kisses in front of a church, that's going to continue for the next 10 million years. As long as you have this system in place. You're supposed to be, these are not incidents. These are built into the systems. These are requirements. If you're a white supremacist, this is what you're supposed to do. You gun down black people. That's what the guns are made for. And black people are given guns only if they are going to use these guns against other black people. And that's been proven every day. Mm-hmm. And we have bought into it because that's how we show off among each other. Man, I'll kill you. I'll kill you right now. You ain't nobody. You ain't nothing to me. You know. No, I ain't going outside and getting no fist fight. I'm going to kill you right now. You dead, man. You don't say nothing like that to me. All right? Now, what do I get out of that? I get a rush feeling, like a cocaine high. All right, and then I stand a few, a couple of weeks later, a couple of months later. Well, I apologize, and I lost my temper and whatnot. That's all built in. The white supremacists know you're going to lose your temper,
Against other black people.
and they know you're going to do what you did, because that's all a part of their plan. They know us better than we know ourselves or know anything else. All right, because they taught us, and they taught us to hate us. We go around talking about Black Lives Matter. Black lives do matter, but only the people who don't matter. I hear an echo. Hello.
Are you still hearing an echo?
I hear an echo.
Okay, I don't know why you're hearing an echo, but you should not be hearing. Is my voice echoing?
No, I'm hearing my voice echoing, coming back to me over what I've already said.
I don't know why. That should not be so. At least on our end, it's not happening. What we can do is
Does the caller hear this?
Yeah, let's take the caller. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Are you hearing an echo?
No, I'm not. I shut my podcast, my cast off. So I think that was the reason for the echo.
Oh, the echo is coming from your end. Yes, well, yeah, right. Well,
okay, are you still hearing the echo now, Mr. Fuller?
No, I don't.
Okay, then. All right, then let's go to the caller. Caller, go ahead with your question.
Sure. Hey, first I want to say, Mr. Fuller, I'm honored to be speaking to you. I've been studying the compensatory code for maybe 3 months now, and I think you have done an awesome work in fighting injustice in this world and white supremacy. So I want to take my hat off to you. I want to say that, first I want to let you know, I am a Muslim. I believe in Islam, right? The same way that Malcolm X did, who I thought was one of the greatest champions to fighting against white supremacy. The one thing I want to say, and it's sort of a question and a statement, is that I think we could benefit ourselves with a more nuanced or more closer examination of the issue of religion, and I'll tell you why really quickly. Are you aware, Mr. Fuller, that Islam describes this world as a prison? The same way that you have told us, and rightfully so, that we as black people are in prison. We are in a prison. We are prisoners of war. We've been captive, which is absolutely correct. Are you aware that Islam describes this world as a prison, which tells me that you are completely on point? So that's the question to you. Are you aware of this?
No, I'm not. I haven't heard that was taught in the religion of Islam. And of course, there are different facets, I understand, of the religion of Islam.
Yes.
Yes. And
let me ask you this, caller. Let me ask you this: which I guess I want to use the word SECT. Which sect are you referring to? Are you referring to like the Nation of Islam, or referring to the Ahmadiyya or Sunni? Which one?
Well, let me just say this, because I personally don't subscribe to the sectarianism, because I think that's a part of the foolishness that occurs in religion. So I just call myself a Muslim. The same way that Malcolm X did, and the same way that Muhammad Ali did. Two of the greatest Muslims that the so-called United States, the so-called America, because I totally subscribe to what NEELY Fuller says, that there's no such thing as America. But the two greatest Muslims coming out of America were Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali, in my humble opinion.
Okay, now
I am a Muslim.
Yes. Now that he's answered that question about a prison, all right, let's go to the second step. What is your question in terms of religion? Because I think religion is an excellent focus. Go ahead.
That was the question. Are you aware that Islam describes this world as a prison, and a prison for the believers, those who believe in righteousness, those who believe in that we should do what the Creator says?
in Islam, it's described as a prison for us. So that was the question.
And the answer was, no, I wasn't aware that that's what the religion of Islam taught, but it seems logical that, that it might teach that.
It does. And the next time I get the opportunity to call in, which I intend to do, I will share with you, if I'm permitted to do so, the scripture that says that. Second question, and this is kind of a recommendation to you, the host. I know you're sitting in for Mr. Bobby. There's a brother that calls in, I believe he's from Chicago, who talks about we're going to be exterminated, that there's a setup for extermination. I would recommend that you maybe give that brother a show, right? But maybe not just a show, but encourage that brother to do what Neely Fuller did and maybe write a book, because the brother breaks down how Hitler was put in place by the people, by the government. They knew he was a madman, just like Trump. They knew he was a madman, but he was put in place. This brother has some history that he should elaborate upon and maybe put into a book that can help guide us as a people the way Neely Fuller has done. So that brother should not be dismissed when he calls on the air, which sometimes you allow him to talk and sometimes he's cut short by Mr. Bobby. But let that brother, maybe encourage that brother to either write a book or give him a show, because that brother is on to something as well that can supplement the compensatory guide.
That's an excellent recommendation. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. You both of you brothers have a beautiful day. I love y'all.
Okay. Thank you. God bless. Mr. Fuller, I did have a question regarding the incident, and I wanted to get your take on it. When the black man saw that this white man was accosting or interacting with his wife inappropriately, he rushed and pushed the guy down to the ground, if I'm hearing the account correctly. Now, was that an effective or ineffective response to that kind of situation? What do you do when you see those kinds of situations occurring? What should have been the proper way for a black man to have handled that situation?
Well, I saw a part of it, the part that they showed on television, and I looked at it, and I was a little confused about exactly what was happening and what it was all about. Mm-hmm. But I do know, according to what I have written, what I would have done according to the counter-racist code.
Okay.
Codification is about what to do in every circumstance.
Correct.
I mean, so therefore, what I would have done was the female, did she have an association with the person who did the pushing?
Yes, I think that was his wife.
All right. What I would have done was go to the person that I called my wife. That was the female. It was just one female involved, and there was two males involved. Mm-hmm. Was the other male white?
The other male was white. The one that got pushed down was white.
Now I got the information that I need.
Okay.
I would have gone directly to the person who identified as my wife and pulled her toward me. And gone back down that sidewalk and into the place like we were going on our way to go, I guess, to take care of business and whatnot, but to get her away from the person, be going away from the source of danger, just as I would in any prisoner of war camp. If I was, and I am in a prisoner of war camp, I never forget that, all right? So that's the way I would have acted. I would have gone to my wife, who is in this prison with me. We are on this slave ship. The whole planet is a slave ship. All right, and I'm the slave, and so is she. I never forget that. Not for 1 second do I forget that. All right? So I go to her and pull her toward me in a protective mode as best I possibly can. Mm-hmm. Now, the person who is accosting us, who is challenging us, I'm looking at that person as a white supremacist who has total power over that situation. He's a guard in that prison that I'm in. I'm the prisoner of war. My wife is a prisoner of war. See, this is how I look at it. The minute that I came out of that store and I saw this, I said, oh, my goodness, I'm in trouble. And so is my wife. We're fixing to get killed. All right, that's what's going to happen here. We're going to die. Because, you know, that guy's coming toward her like he's getting ready to do great harm, and he has the whole world of power behind him. Okay? That's the way you have to look at it. You have no allies in this. You have nobody who sympathizes with your position, who has power. Every black person has to understand this every minute of every day, that when the deal goes down, there's nobody on this planet that can come to your rescue. Nobody.
That's all.
Except,
Go ahead.
it might be, like in many lynchings down through history, and usually this is the way it happens, when we have had lynchings, all right, which is what all this is about. You know, they give it different names, but it's just white supremacists killing black people, that's all. One way or another, still a lynching. You can call it by any other name. But sometimes when you have people gathering to have a lynch, please don't lynch that black person. Spare his wife. Please don't lynch that Negro. Please don't lynch that colored man. Don't kill him. Oh, this is ungodly. This is terrible. Please don't do it. But they go ahead and lynch him. All right, you're going to get lynched. But it's always one or two sympathizers who say don't do it. But it still gets done. Keep that in mind. Oh yeah, there'll be some people who say it shouldn't have been done. There'll be some white people who will come around right now and say that incident that you're telling me about, it shouldn't have been done. That was the incorrect thing to do. And something ought to be done about it so it doesn't happen again. It's going to happen again. We're prisoners of war, and our black lives do matter, but only to people who don't matter. Don't forget that.
Mr. Fuller, that is a completely different analysis because, as you know, most black males would look at that completely different. They would have sided with the guy jumping in there, knocking the guy down, and roughing him up. And you're saying that that's a whole, from your perspective, you're saying that's an incorrect approach to dealing with white supremacy.
Why? Because yes, that's an incorrect approach for a very simple, logical, universal reason. It doesn't work. See, codification is about doing only the things that work. When you're a prisoner of war, you have no power. Black people keep walking around acting like they got some kind of power. That is a huge mistake. When you go up against the white supremacists, you are going up against the most powerful force among people that the world has ever seen. And you are alone. Because all the black people who belong to these different gangs scattered all over the place, all this tribal warfare, they can't whip nobody but other black people. And if you put it to a test, you'll find that out in 5 minutes. I mean, black people walking around with all their, regalia and tattoos and woof, 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 woof. Oh yeah, we scare the Jesus out of other black people. All the different tribes and, all over Nigeria and whatnot fighting each other. 2 or 3 white supremacists come around and everybody melts. That's been proven over and over again. Why? Because we are in their prison. That's why prison riots are all about prisoners killing each other. They go up against those guards, they're going to find out what hell is.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Fuller.
And every white supremacist is a prison guard.
All right, 1-877-932-9766. Caller, you're on the air with Mr. Neely Fuller, Compensatory Concept. Go ahead.
Good morning. Can I be heard?
Yes, you can. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Fuller, and good morning, Brother Kahiri.
Yes.
I just have a statement, VGQ. I would like to suggest that Mr. Fuller or any other person watch a movie called Escape from Fort Bravo.
Oh, okay. Say that again. Escape from Fort Bravo?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's an old, well, so-called Civil War film made in the 1950s. But I think that it would be a constructive film.
Why should I watch it? Why should I watch Escape from Fort Bravo? What would I see?
Well, Mr. Fuller, he said it this morning, but he says it all the time that when black people, all we do is focus on each other and showing off to each other. I think it's 4 different show-offisms, or 4 or 5. I'm not sure. And in Escape from Fort Bravo, I don't want to ruin the movie, but I think it'll show what it'll prove what Mr. Fuller's saying. It's analogous to what that statement, and I think it's an axiom. I think it's the truth, and
it reveals racial show-offism.
No, sir, not racial show-offism. It reveals how. Well, I don't want to spoil the movie, but it reveals how white people act when they're prisoners of war.
Wow. That's interesting. Now, Mr. Fuller, is that similar to Shawshank Redemption?
Well, I always say look for the lessons in the movie. Not so much focus on the characters, but just the lessons that the characters convey. And look at each character in a movie and listen to what the character is saying and how the character goes about doing whatever he or she does. And then look for where the mistakes are that characters make, and look for where the successes are that characters make. That's in any movie you look at, whether it's Gone with the Wind or Grapes of Wrath or From Here to Eternity. These are all on my list. Bound for Glory.
Go ahead, Mr. Fuller.
Yes. Look for these. Look for lessons. All kinds of lessons. Lessons in courage. But basically, look for the lessons of what to do and what not to do. What is that beeping I hear?
I don't know. Okay. All right, let's go to our next caller. Okay, the lessons. So let's keep that in mind. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead. Okay, then that person is hung up. So that's what you're hearing. 1-877-932-9766. 1-877-932-9766. This is an open line, and you're listening to the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com. So let's open up the lines. 1-877-932-9766. Mr. Fuller, that explanation of what our behavior should be in that situation was quite interesting, because it changes the whole world view. We have a world view as to how we're supposed to act in those kinds of situations, especially when our significant others, our women are involved, and our children, what we're supposed to do to protect them. You're saying that we have to protect them in a whole different manner given the reality that we face. Am I correct about that?
Yes, protect them, in real protection as best you can, because you have no power against the system of white supremacy as long as you are subject to it, as long as you are in their prison. And we have to realize that's the reality. That's not something made up. You are alone. In your black skin, you are alone against a whole world army, because there's nobody who has the muscle. A lot of people who have, the intention, they have your sympathies and all like that. That's why we buy out these balloons and candles and all like that every time something happens, and we need to stop that. That kind of ceremony is worth absolutely nothing. We are bought into that like that's something, that's supposed to be our reaction every time it happens, and it happens every 15 minutes. Now, so what we're going to do is just go around spending the rest of our existence on this planet buying warehouses full of balloons and candles.
And teddy bears.
And the teddy bears and hang them on fences. Now, that's pitiful. No, that's not a solution to anything. And we need to just stop doing it because it's not worth anything. That doesn't do anything. A balloon on a fence doesn't correct anything. That's not. People do not react to that in a manner to say, "Oh, you got a balloon on a fence, so we won't do it again."
Wow.
Where's the connection? See, we get in the habit of doing things that make absolutely no sense at all. And that's the definition of the N-word.
Wow. All right, let's take a call. 1-877-932-9766. Caller, you're on the air with Mr. Neely Fuller.
How you doing, Mr. K?
How you doing?
Hello, this is Brother Muko.
Brother Muko, how you doing, Brother Muko? Waiting on your statement or your question. Go ahead.
Okay, my question to Mr. Fuller. Well, actually, I always do this, Mr. Fuller. Can you expound for my care unit in Baltimore and all around the world the importance, and I think I asked you this the week before, glad to see you on this week, but the importance, and I think you already stated this, the importance of victims of racism, white supremacy, to identify with being prisoners of war, victims of racism, and not identifying with anything else. You just said that to the caller, and you told him how important it was, but I think it just went right over his head because he kept saying, well, I'm a Muslim. But ultimately, we are victims of racism, white supremacy. And so my question to you is, can you elaborate for the care unit again, and I know you get tired of this, but the importance of identifying with being a victim?
Mr. Fuller.
Yes, sir. That is what my entire book is about. When people ask me sometimes, Fuller, you talk about this, that, and other, but we don't know very much about you. Why can't you tell us something more about yourself and all like that? I said, something like what? All right? That's an excellent question. But something like what? I am more a victim of white supremacy than I am anything. And that's why I put it on the back of my book. I say, I, Neely Fuller Jr., a longtime victim of white supremacy. That is my title. I'm more of that than I have ever been or ever will be anything as long as I am under the system of white supremacy. If you're a prisoner of war, you are more a prisoner of war than you are anything else. It doesn't make any difference about you working in the carpenter shop or whether you got your GED in the prison library and all like that. You're still a prisoner. That is your title, more than anything. And we have to understand that. See, we were captured by the white supremacists a long time ago, before we were born. All of the people that they originally put under captivity are long gone, all right? But we are the offspring of the people who were put in captivity. We have never been outside of that captivity. Slavery never ended. Because what is slavery? Slavery is nothing but just another form of mistreatment. Mistreatment based on what? If it's based on color, that's racism. So we're the slaves of anybody who believes in white supremacy. And that's never ended. We were born. While we were in the womb, we were born to what we call our parents, which they really are not. They're just fellow prisoners. We are born in a prison. Right out of the womb, we are born in prison. We have never for 1 minute been out of that prison. None of us. If you're a person of color, you have come under the system of white supremacy. That's every person of color who is on this planet right now. Now, maybe back in what you call prehistory or 10 million years ago and whatnot, that might not have been true. I don't know. Historians can handle that. But I'm talking about what's happening now and what our status is now. You're correct. You have to identify yourself as a prisoner of war. You can go to court and do that. You can say that. Well, first of all, Your Honor, I'm a victim of white supremacy and a prisoner of war. You want to know who I really am. You know, and now we can talk about the rest of what this trial is about. But that's my correct title, all right?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Neely, for
being a doctor. I just like that. Being a doctor, a lawyer, a professor, and whatnot. You got to be kidding. You're a prisoner of war. You're a victim of white supremacy. That is your main title. Now, I either said something that's true or false.
Brother Muko and Mr. Neely Fuller, I want both of you to stay right there because we're going to continue this. This is incredible information you've got to get. This is the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller. Stay right there.
For the best home fragrance and beauty products, shop Ash Kickin online.
That's ASHKICKIN.
Made with 100% natural quality ingredients and handcrafted with your family in mind, Ash Kickin products are better than those other guys. Ash Kickin candles, incense, body butter, face moisturizer, and hair moisturizer are priced just right, and you can get yours at 10% off with coupon code TALK17. Support this 100% black-owned business and get your home and body smelling and feeling all right.
That's ASHKICKIN.
Shop Ash Kickin online at www.ashkickin.com.
Are you ready for a high school that allows you to work at a place that is right for you? Are you ready to earn a certification in healthcare, business, or manufacturing while achieving your high school diploma? Then you are ready for Life Skills High School, a free public school option for high school students 16 to 21 years old. Learn more about your free high school educational options at lifeskillshs.org or call them at 1-800-888-7992. Life Skills High School, education that fits your life.
If you or someone you know is abusing drugs and or alcohol and want to stop the abuse, contact APDS at 1409 East Livingston Avenue. Office hours are 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily and 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday. APDS is certified by the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services and primarily funded through the Adam H. Board. Fees are based on your income and Medicaid is always accepted. For more information, call 614-253-4448.
McGruff the crime dog here. Let's hear from an identity thief.
Identities are easy to catch online. I send people an official-looking email pretending to be their bank or credit card company and ask them to confirm their personal information. Books them every time.
Safeguard your personal information on the phone, online, and especially at home, because half of identity theft occurs by someone you think you know. Keep your identity to yourself and take a bite out of crime. Learn more from the National Crime Prevention Council at ncpc.org.
A message from this station, the U.S. Department of Justice, Crime Prevention Coalition of America, and the National Crime Prevention Council.
Hey, wake up. You can't dream your way into college. There are actual steps you need to take, steps that go beyond just getting good grades. So if you're serious about college, visit knowhowtogo.org today. Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation for Education, and the Ad Council.
This is Al Edmondson, owner of a Cutter Brother Rest Barbershop. I'm calling on all barbers and beauticians. It's time for us to unite as one. We can serve our communities better together. Join the Ohio Black Barber Beauty Network. For more information, visit www.obbn.org or call 614-427-3226 to get more information. Be the change that you want to see in your community. Join our network.
We thank you for your emails and your feedback. And we are working very hard for you. We have supported the Compensatory Code since 1975. We believe that it is the only system of thought, speech, and action that enables us to move in the correct direction to work toward the production of justice. But right now, we need your help. If we're going to continue the Compensatory Concept show each week, we need your support. Now, we thank you and deeply appreciate what you've already donated. Please help us to continue to get the Compensatory Code system of thought, speech, and action out. Please donate today. Go to TalkTainmentRadio.com and hit the yellow donate button on the front page. Donate today. We appreciate any amount that you can give. We thank you so much.
Live call-in talk show. Dial 1-877-932-9766 and join the conversation here on TalkTainmentRadio.com.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the the truth.
Go ahead. Make my day.
You got the power.
Can you handle the truth? This is the Compensatory Concept with Mr. Neely Fuller, heard exclusively on TalkTainmentRadio.com. I'm Brother K, sitting in for Mr. Bobby, who does a wonderful job. Mr. Bobby will be back next week due to unforeseen circumstances. He is not able to be with us this week, but he will be back and continue on with his work with the Compensatory Concept. Mr. Neely Fuller is here, and Brother Muko is on the line. Brother Muko, did you have another statement or question that you wanted to make in reference to... well, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me go back to Mr. Fuller.
Okay.
Mr. Fuller, did you get a chance to complete what you were saying?
Well, only if the caller says that it's complete.
Okay, Brother Muko, is it complete? Or did you want to hear a further discussion on that particular point?
Well, Mr. Fuller always makes it clear for me. I just wish that everybody else gets it as crystal as he says it. I mean, you know, he's always on point. Thank you, Mr. Fuller, and I hope Mr. Bobby is doing well, and I look forward to talking to you guys next Wednesday.
Yes, thank you so much. Mr. Fuller, let me ask you one question in my mind. Why, if this is very clear, but why are black people in particular, and maybe in other non-white people, why is it so hard, so difficult for us to catch on and understand what exactly is going on?
Because the white supremacists do not tell us that the system of white supremacy is the only government for non-white people on the planet. There's no other government. We're under their prison system. It is a prison government. That's what it's dedicated to being. Put all people of color in prison. A prison called racism. That's the name of the prison. Racism in the form of the system of white supremacy. And that includes the entire planet in all 9 areas of activity 24/7. And no exceptions to that. They don't have any people of color who are exception. And so the reason that the victims don't understand that, nobody says it. I mean, you know, people say that I'm this and I'm that, and I'm Reverend so-and-so, and I'm Professor so-and-so, and I'm the President of Nigeria. And, you know, we got all these titles to the white supremacists. None of them mean anything at all. I mean, they get behind the bushes and they just roll in the bushes with laughter. See, these black people got more titles than anybody that's ever existed. When all they are is one. They got one title, and they know what it is. It's the N-word. But they're so dumb they don't know that. Under me, they are nothing. I mean, you know, you want to use that word. Nothing. That's who they are. I'm a white man, a white woman, and I believe in white supremacy. And once I say that, that automatically means that all of these non-white people are nothing. N-O-T-H-I-N-G. But since nobody's telling them that they are nothing to me, because that's who they are nothing to, and I am their master, they don't have another one other than me. They can't prove that they got another one other than me. Now, they will go and say that they got another master, that they'll say that Jesus is their master. Some of them will say that.
Yes.
But I notice that when I come around, they do what I say do. And they are going to continue to do what I say do. I don't care who they say is their master. I will prove I am their master, and it won't take me but about 2 seconds to do it in any setting. And if you don't believe it, try me. And every time they have come around and done that, it's worked in their favor. I have never seen it work otherwise.
1-877-932-9766. 1-877-932-9766. Open line with Mr. Neely for the compensatory concept. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Fuller, for everything, and thank you, Brother Kahari. Mr. Fuller just mentioned what I was about to make a comment about. And I've been logically trying to process this for quite some time, years. And it started in my own family with trying to bring more information, just bringing a little more information so that a different decision can be made. But there's a very deep rejection of other information, and I'm speaking in the area of religion, and that is what's undergirding things, at least in, I think a lot of the people of color, of the black community, and because I might be wrong, but I think we are a matriarchy now. I think that we are governed by women now. When you go to a church, you can see a church with maybe even 80% women in the church, maybe with their children, and a male pastor.
Yeah, in some cases, you're absolutely correct.
Right, and so this means that the numbers are that there are a lot of females, not women, females, who are trying to navigate this situation, and they are using religion as their tool to navigate, and it always ends up, as Mr. Fuller was saying about, they're not bound, they really do not submit really to Jesus. It's like it's something to do on Sunday. It's almost like it's social. This is where you will end up having teddy bears and locks and flowers. And a lot of men are not buying this. It's a lot of women, and it's the same women who, to the tune of billions of dollars, are keeping the Koreans and other groups in business with this artificial patent leather looking hair. And so they have it's such a hold on the self-esteem, and then there's a hold on being manless, then there's a hold on, I'm making a statement, but I guess the question I would ask Mr. Fuller is it possible that we Black Americans will more than likely be exterminated? My feeling is that, and this is not
that's a powerful question.
Answer the question, but this is just to add another little piece onto it.
Go ahead.
Which is that in my mind, in my logic, I'm like, I could see that Trump, title President Trump, to come up with an executive order to gather all black people. I can see it, and I'm just wondering what Mr. Fuller's position is.
Okay. So let's put it in the form of a succinct question. So ask it again. Go ahead.
Yes, it goes back to that question. Is it possible that we could be exterminated in not a very slow drip process? Here's the question: is it possible that we could be exterminated in not a slow drip process, but by the decision of a pen,
like in the twinkling of an eye or something? Mr. Fuller.
Yeah. If I understand the question, is it possible that the white supremacists can exterminate us?
Yes, that's the question. That's the question.
The answer is yes. And they could have done that a long time ago, and they can do it anytime they choose to do it right this minute. The white supremacists can announce to the entire world right now on every television set, in the next 2 minutes, you know what? We are sick and tired of these black people being on this planet, giving us all these headaches and complaining about this, that, and the other. They don't have jobs. Their babies are not being taken care of. They're not getting an education, that we owe them this and we owe them that. Well, we got an announcement to make. We white supremacists of the world got an announcement to make. As of August the 1st, we are going to start an extermination program. We want everybody to understand that. All you black people can try to find a place to hide. This is getting toward the end of July now. August the 1st, white people of this planet are going to start exterminating every black person that they encounter, wherever you happen to be. We're going to drop bombs on your villages where there are a lot of you together, and where you're not cluttered together. We're going to hunt you down individually and shoot you down like dogs in the street, which is what you are. Now, let's just say hypothetically that the white supremacists of this planet made that decision and announced it. Nothing could stop that, or nothing would stop it, not even other black people. Black people then would just be running trying to save their individual selves. I know that's what I would do, simply because what? What are my options? What are my options? You know, the white supremacists have said they're going to kill me on sight. I got a little window between now and July the 1st, August the 1st. That's about 5 or 6 days now in 2018 away right now. And that announcement has been made on television that any white person seeing any black person anywhere, kill them. What's going to stop them from doing so? The answer is nothing and nobody short of intervention, but by whatever created us. Now, what I have written in my book is that's exactly the position that we should be trying to force them to have to make that decision, either to do justice or to kill us all. Why not? Because I don't see any logical reason why. We are trying to get justice, all right? Meaning nobody's mistreated, and the person that needs help the most gets that most constructive help. That's what justice is, according to a definition that I produce, all right? Now, we are trying to force or persuade the white people of this planet to produce that justice, because they're in position to do it. We're not in position to do it, all right? But they are in position to do it instantly, okay, if they want to, because they have complete power over us. They can do that. They know how to do it, all right? But they have chosen not to. So therefore, it is our job to force them to have to make a decision, either do justice or kill us all. So, in answer to the question, or put it in a frame of reference, that's what we are aiming to do anyway, or should be. Why? Otherwise, we're going to continue to have what? Non-justice. And complaining about it and making a sport, which is what we have actually done. We make it a sport of complaining about the non-justice that we are under, but we don't make a plan to do anything about it.
Hold on. Go ahead, caller.
Okay, so that means that this notion that we're on our way to another place, you know, it's like, okay, you know, a lot of the women literally believe this. I challenge people everywhere. I challenge at the grocery store, library, if I'm running into someone, and I'll just strike up a conversation with the one thing intent, and that is dealing in that area of religion in the code.
That's powerful.
And 9 times out of 9, 10 times out of 10 or whatever, the answer is, well, you know, Jesus saved, are you saved? And I mean, it's such an illogical, irrational response.
Caller, let me ask you something. You said something, and I wanted to get your further take on it, if Mr. Fuller doesn't mind. You made a statement that I found to be very fascinating. You said they use religion as a way to navigate. Basically, what I heard you say is religion as a way to navigate through white supremacy. What did you mean by that?
Well, it seems to me that it's a balm. It is a mechanism to give just a short temporary peace of mind. It's a way of not it's a mechanism that explains that there's this white man that is going to, of all the bad things white people are doing, there's this one dead white man who's somehow going to miraculously show up, and he's going to fix it all.
You're going to make it
So
all
it's
right.
as if, but it's like, well, he's the part of the bad people. He looks like the bad people, but he is going to do that, and he can't be black. So I think what it is that it's just really an irrational, illogical, unexamined, and very fearful to examine. I asked him, I said, but why can't, if you don't go to heaven, if you don't go to hell, can you go sideways? And it's not an option. You know, there is always, and I said, so in other words, this Jesus character, it is inextricably tied to the Satan character. And you can't have one without the other. And when I say, well, I don't believe in Satan, I have Christians trying to force me. It's crazy to believe in Satan. Otherwise, everything falls out. The whole thing falls apart.
Right. Let me have Mr. Fuller respond. Mr. Fuller, should we see religion as a way to navigate through white supremacy?
Sure, we should see a religion. It depends on what the religion is. Is the religion designed to eliminate racism? And that's a yes or no answer. I mean, anybody starts talking about race and they say that they got a religion, you can just ask that simple question. See, all problems are solved through the process of what? Questions and answers. All right? So all you have to do is just ask anybody. A person says, well, my religion is, and they might give you the name of a religion that you never even heard of before. Because there are hundreds, maybe thousands of different religions, tribal religions and whatnot. I mean, so therefore, you just simply ask a person a simple question, yes or no answer. Is your religion designed to eliminate racism? Is it designed to do that? All right, yes or no?
That's powerful.
And let the person answer. Don't interfere with the answer. Right, and the person will tell you. And you'll say, okay, well, and then you can ask the next question. If they say, well, my religion is not designed to do that. You say, well, does that mean that even as a member of your religion, you will have to tolerate racism? And let the person answer, yes or no. Because what we need is a religion that is designed to help us to eliminate racism, which is a form of mistreatment made by people. And in the hour before this particular hour, I have said what? What is a religion?
Yes.
Number one, it's a strong belief backed up by action.
Yes.
So once a person says, my religion is designed, to defeat racism, then you say, well, now, hey, why isn't racism defeated? Looks like your religion is kind of weak to me, because racism is still here. Okay? That's the test. If your religion is designed to eliminate racism, I don't see no evidence of it. Because racism is here, and the racists say that their religion is the strongest. The religion of white supremacy is the strongest religion ever invented by anybody on this planet called Earth. And the white supremacists have proven that no religion is stronger than the religion of white supremacy. And they prove it every day, because if you do anything, if you're a member of any other religion other than the member of the religion of white supremacy, the white supremacists come around and say, I don't like what you're doing in your religion. You're going to have to change that. And you say, well, I'm a devout Christian. Say, I don't care what you are. I'm a white supremacist, and I'm telling you, you can't do that anymore. And I haven't seen anybody of any religion who was able to overcome that. When anybody else sees it, let me know.
Thank you very much for your answer. And I wrote the question down, and that will be the question that I asked. Is your religion designed to eliminate racism?
Yes.
Thank you so much for that.
I appreciate that interaction. That was very powerful. 1-877 932-9766, 1-877-932-9766. Mr. Fuller, we've got a few minutes. I'd like for you to tell us where we can get your books.
You can get the book about a week and a half from now, I have been told, by going to producejustice.com. That's producejustice.com. Producejustice.com. And what will come up on the screen is a brief description of a basic textbook and an additional word guide. Basically, they're supposed to be the same book, but I couldn't get it, crowd all that into one volume and make it able to be carried around by a person, because it's a guide book. It's a suggestion book about what an individual person can do each and every day. Do's and don'ts, because that's what everything is about.
Very powerful.
What you do, what you don't do. What you say, what you don't say, and how to say it, and how not to say it. And so that's what the book tries to do in addressing the problems of racism, and hopefully of all the other problems that come after that. It will be an introduction to that. But go to producejustice.com about a week and a half from now, because we have a distribution problem, and so that won't be corrected in about till about a couple of weeks. So I've been told.
Well, we've got time maybe for one more. Let's go to our caller. Caller, you're on air. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Quick question. Mr. Fuller, do you ever feel bitter upon the progress or lack of progress that's being made in terms of defeating white supremacy?
Very good question. Mr. Fuller.
Absolutely not. I always take things the way that they are. I was born into the world the way I see it, and the way, the concept that I, look at it. I was born for what reason? I was born to solve problems. That's what the conclusion I came to. How did I come to that conclusion? Because there are problems. Okay, so does that mean that Neely Fuller is born to help solve some of these problems that you're looking at? That whatever created us also put these problems here for us to deal with? And I came to that conclusion by saying, yeah, in answer to that question, yeah, that's what I'm supposed to hit the ground running doing. So I expect to have these problems. Why? Because the problems are here. Think about it. We could have been born with no problems at all. Whatever created us could have put us in a situation where there were no problems. But we were put here in a world full of problems. All right? Before we come out of the womb, we got problems. Okay? Because whomever is carrying us in the womb got problems. So when we come out of that womb, we are faced with problems right away. That's why I say babies come here crying. They don't come here laughing. All right? That tells you something right there. The baby hasn't even been talked to yet. But the baby starts crying. Because the babies are saying, I think, this is just my opinion, what in the world is this? Man, I got off at the wrong station. Let me go back. And I think that's why a lot of black males are always trying to crawl back into the womb. I mean, because that's a good place to hide.
That's a good place to hide.
For 9 months, you don't have to worry about nothing. All right? But once you come out, you are faced with problems instantly. You got a food problem, for one thing, and you can't move. All right? You got to have somebody carry you around. This is an awful situation.
Yeah.
Suppose that person drops you. You're in big trouble. Okay?
Well, in conclusion, I would just like to say,
yeah, we are here to solve problems.
Hold on, caller. Caller, hold on. We're up against the clock.
We're here to solve problems, and the biggest problem is racism.
Yes.
That's what I came to the conclusion. So I don't get bitter about it. I just say, hey, start working on the problem, because that's what we're put here to do.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Fuller. Thank you, callers. I appreciate all of you. And it's been my pleasure to sit in this week only for Mr. Bobby, who will be back calm. The world's greatest radio.
The most important question in all racial matters is why. One should always ask it.
Radio, the way it should be heard.
You've got the power. The world's greatest radio. TalkTainmentRadio.com.